voice of Nerdy Up North. We know you can hear us. P.S. Chris drinks out of the toilet.
And we are live for your Sunday edition of the Nerdy Up North podcast. I'm Becca and I am joined by the loveliest ladies in the Nerdy Up North community, which is Sarah and our Phoebes. Welcome, ladies.
More Phoebes.
Our Phoebes.
Phoebes. Thanks,
I had to go a bit southern then for her, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes. This,
as you should,
is a very, very different episode because, one, we've not been all together on a live episode. I've not been in charge of a live episode other than the one that Paul decided to just chuck me on.
Yeah.
And
I was there for that.
You were there for that, yes. And we're talking about something that I don't think we've kind of really touched on before, which is puppets.
Puppets.
And the Gerry Anderson Supermarionation puppet style.
Which, when you first said that, I was like, Supermarionation. What, like the Nintendo 64?
To be fair, I have been talking about this for the last couple of days, and every single person has gone to me, Super Mario. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm on about. But if that makes you happy, sure, go for it. But yes, this is a little bit different because it is about the Gerry Anderson series, and for anyone who doesn't really know much about it, can you both sum it up in 5 words?
5. They only get 5.
You get 5 words, yes.
Thunderbirds are go, hell yeah.
Sarah, have you got
That's my 5.
Scarlet, Thunderbird, Stingray.
Woo!
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So, as you guys can tell, we are talking about Thunderbirds. We're going to be talking about Captain Scarlet, Stingray, the Terrahawks, even though they come slightly later. But
Yeah. I've also got marionette facts.
okay,
I've, dredged out from my brain of theatre knowledge some history of marionettes.
okay.
I don't know if that'll come up, but it's there if we need it.
How about this? You tell us a couple of facts then.
Oh, I'd love to. So Chris actually made a joke earlier in the chat, which was, did you know the word marionette comes from its creator, Mary? She locked herself away for days. Her husband said, I don't know what she is making, but Mary on it, and it stuck. He's actually not that far off.
Thank God.
In that the word marionette does come from Mary, but it comes from the depiction of Mary. So in the 13th century, marionettes were established as a form of kind of folk theatre. So you had the puppet operas in Sicily, and often these were ways for people to depict religious stories. So you had the marionette was the little Mary, who was one of the main characters in a lot of the plays, because obviously it was about Jesus and Mary Magdalene and the Holy Mother Mary. So that's where the word marionette comes from, and when it was first established. And also what I found was that pretty much in every country in the world, they have some sort of puppet theatre that is a way of telling like history and stories in villages. So you have like the shadow puppets of Asia, you have marionettes in Europe, you have like the hand puppets of the British seaside, even though we're not allowed to talk about those anymore because it like is definitely humorizing domestic violence, but they're there, they exist, they're part of it.
They are a part of history.
They're a part of history, they're part of it, and we can't escape it. So puppets are a thing in pretty much every storytelling culture, and I think that's why these particular Gerry Anderson puppets have such a strong place in a lot of people's hearts, because it's so familiar to lots and can speak so widely to different like storytelling heritage.
Yes.
So that's my marionette facts.
I love it. But do you know what I liked about these puppets is the way they did it. So did you guys know how they made them look and sound so lifelike?
I don't, but I do know some of them were based on real people. So
Okay.
like Lady Penelope is based on Gerry Anderson's wife, Sylvia.
Yes.
Like the actual puppet was modelled after her. And if you look at pictures of her in the 60s, they are the spit of each other. So I think there's something in there. Like, there's a couple of the other Thunderbirds are like modelled after famous actors.
Yes.
Captain Scarlet as well.
But how they did it was really genius. So they pre-recorded the voices. And then use electric signals to make the mouths go at the same time. It was the first time it was used.
That's exactly how they do it in Team America as well. And if you see the skeletons without the puppet faces, it's terrifying.
It's the same style. They literally took the same style of what they did for Team America, and that's how they did it. That. But going back down to the nostalgia route, what is your first memory of Gerry Anderson's universe that he's created?
Go on, Sarah.
I remember watching Thunderbirds while we had our tea around the TV, like in the living room, because we didn't have a dining room at the time. We only had like a 2-bedroom, 2-reception room house, and one. Well, I'm saying 2 reception. One was the kitchen. But yeah, we used to have our tea just at the. I can't remember if it was BBC Two used to show Thunderbirds at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
5:30, 6 o'clock, and we used to sit and watch them while we were eating.
Yeah, nice.
What about you, Phoebes?
For me, it was actually Stingray is my earliest memory. And I remember the Marina, Aquamarina song from the end of Stingray, of like the beautiful mermaid who is a mute as well, I think. Mm-hmm. And I remember, so my mum used to take us to work with her on a Saturday morning because she was and still is to this day. Actually, she's never really, like, she says that she's semi-retired. She hasn't stopped working at all. She just does different things and doesn't get paid for it anymore. So we used to go to work with her on a Saturday, and she would put that on, like, if for us in another room to kind of entertain us while she was working. So we were playing on one of those big car mats, and it would always be on the TV like Thunderbirds, Stingray, Captain Scarlet. I think I've seen the Mysterons episode like hundreds of times just because it was always on repeat.
Well, there is only about 20 episodes per series.
Yeah.
There's not that many. So you always think that there's going to be more. But my first memory isn't actually of an episode. It's the cultural phenomenon that was Blue Peter.
The Blue Peter Thunderbird Island.
Because I actually watched a documentary around this because I thought, okay, 60th anniversary was last year for Thunderbirds. I'm going to watch the documentary with Scarlett Moffat, and it's really, really good. And it's really interesting, the story around this. So, 1992-93, Christmas, Tracy Island is out in the toy shops, sold out. So, Blue Peter came to the rescue, and they designed this Tracy Islands that could be created at home.
Yeah. Paper mache and
paper mache,
rolls.
all of this. Obviously, you've got
tubs, yogurt pots.
Yes. But do you know what they did? So, because they could only do it in 30 minutes was an episode of Blue Peter, they basically told all these kids across the country to send in a stamped addressed envelope, and they will send the instructions out. They got overran with requests. They got more posts for that episode than they ever have since or before.
Wow.
So in the end, because they couldn't keep on top of it, the newspapers of the day came to the rescue. And you know, back in the day when you actually had a decent newspaper that had like a decent amount in, and they did inserts, and you could get the insert from the newspaper with the instructions for this. And
that's so good.
They were doing sort of what do they call it? You could basically go somewhere with all your items and they would show you how to do it. They did them around like the road shows around the country.
Like a crafternoon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
How amazing was that? Just to think that this one item, and we all know about it now, but that wasn't even when Thunderbirds first came out. This was like second generation, so that was
Yeah.
obviously all the parents had watched it back in the 60s, and now they've all got children.
And they want to buy a Tracy Island.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Um,
I've
my-
seen the Tracy Island reboot come at least twice when I was younger, because
Mm.
my brother is 6 years younger than me, and my mum's friend made one of those Blue Peter Tracy Islands for him when he was about 9 or 10,
Hmm.
and it came at just the right time because when I was about 10 or 11, there was a magazine called Look In, and it was just a general, pre-teen magazine, not beauty tips, but it was like music interviews, what was going on TV, things like that. And they had a competition in, and I won a little die-cast metal set of the first 4 Thunderbirds, because it was going to be a bit hard to give you a number 5, being a space station and all, and they fit perfectly into the Blue Peter Tracy Island. So I gave my brother them, and he then had a full Tracy Island. And believe me, Jake, this Tracy Island that I got was solid. It would have smashed the plastic ones to hell.
Yeah.
But then also, when I was about 16, 17, I got a Saturday job at, now I'm going to age myself here, Little Woods or Index Catalogue. And I
Yeah.
was on the phones, and it was about that time, so it'll have been about, what, 2000, 2001? And Tracy Island was making a comeback at the time. And
Was that for the live action film?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
I
It would
can't
have been
date the
around
live
then.
action film, but it'll have been about then, yeah, because we could not get Tracy Island for love nor money. We literally had the same people ringing up every hour for an update on our system to say, have you got it in? No. Well, has any shop in the UK got it in? I will go and drive to
How
it.
can I tell?
Save it for me. Well, the thing is, our systems did actually show if it was in stock anywhere.
Oh, cool.
But we literally, as soon as as it was coming in, it was going out. We couldn't even get a hold of it for the staff.
Yeah.
It's
It's because I remember my brother had a Tracy Island. Also, my dad had a Thunderbird. Is it Thunderbird 2, the big green one?
the big green one, yeah.
Yeah, Thunderbird 2. He had one of them. It shot missiles, and it had a Thunderbird 4 that, like, the little submarine that
Yeah.
would plop out of it. That he used to take in the bath with him as a grown man. And that's another kind of like memory. And I think he's to this day still has it on top of a very fancy bookcase, like it's like a
Yeah.
prized possession.
It is a prized possession. Do you
Thunderbird
know?
2.
Do you
It
know
is,
how
to him, it's
how
very
much it would be worth nowadays?
Well, and also he when because I spoke to him yesterday, I told him we were doing Thunderbirds, because he was like, "What are you doing with your evening?" And I was like, "Well, Dad, I'm gonna watch a load of Thunderbirds episodes." Because we're doing puppets and we're doing all of the Gerry Anderson ones, and he was so excited. Half the facts that I'm spitting today have come directly from him. He got ridiculously excited, and so did my boyfriend as well. Got also very excited. So I think there is something about like that, and both of them were very excited about the machines.
Yeah.
Like the
thing is,
machines element of it.
I found a quote from Jonathan Ross when Gerry Anderson died, which I actually think sums up the feeling of a lot of people of our dad's generation, certainly. And he said, "For men of my age, his work made childhood an incredible place to be."
That's cute.
I thought that really, when my dad was talking about it, when I told him what we were doing this week, and he was like, just talking about it with such love and admiration and things. And I thought, you know what, that actually makes sense, like from what my dad said, and then what you're saying about your dad there as well. All I got from my dad though was, "Are you going to cover Joe 90?" Because that was my nickname, because I had the big thick glasses and I looked like him when I was little. That's the only fact I got from my dad.
Well, I got the Penelope fact, and also the fact that when they were designing Lady Penelope, and Parker, is that basically Sylvia Anderson said, "Oh, like the Americans think that there are only 2 types of British people: of very posh British people and very Cockney people. So we're just gonna give them that."
Yeah.
So they just made 2 massive stereotypes.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't know if you guys have seen the live action version of this.
No.
Okay, it's one of my
Yes.
favourite films, and the
It's
Thunderbirds.
actually underrated, I think.
Yes, it is 100% underrated.
Is that the one that Busted made the song
Yes,
for?
that is.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, and it's a great song, and I will die on the hill of defending that song. But they carry those stereotypes on in the live action film, and
Were they walking around like this?
no, because it's live action.
No, but don't tell me that while you've been watching episodes this week, you haven't had a moment where you're making a cup of tea in the kitchen and pretending to be a puppet. Because I know I'm not the only
No,
one.
because that's pretty normal. But we all watched the same episodes. Well, most of the same episodes. We all decided that we were going to watch the ones that were on ITV Player. But did you guys know they're actually new episodes? They are not. They are not the original episodes. They are new episodes that they filmed in the style and using the same techniques and stuff. And
they're the 50th anniversary episode.
yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And what had me absolutely creased laughing was that first episode where we get to meet Lady Penelope.
And how she becomes a part of it. I like that story.
Yes, and I really like that. But it was the fact that Parker at the end had obviously already broken into the safe, and he's just there with all this stuff, and he's like, "As you wish, my lady," and I'm just like,
yeah.
I feel sorry for Parker so much. It was like, no, Jeff can't carry this. Surely the chauffeur can do it.
yes.
Poor Parker.
I think Parker.
Me.
Parker and Lady Penelope, I think they had something going on, and I think he was getting more than paid for his services.
Is this your headcanon? Is it?
I don't even think it's that much of a headcanon. I think it's there in the canon.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure.
There's a lot of like, you know, I'm just saying she doesn't show a huge amount of romantic interest she doesn't show a huge amount of interest in anyone else. So Parker's, you know, he's always there.
This is another episode where we are probably going to be delving into fan fiction, like we did the last episode. I could not find anything on that subject, but I'm 100% sure there is going to be Lady Penelope and Parker fan fiction by the heat there.
Here's my hot take. I think Thunderbirds has some and Captain Stingray, all the puppets, all the Gerry Anderson puppets have some of the most famous fan fiction ever.
Without a doubt.
Because they have Team America, and Team America, what I realised going back and watching Thunderbirds, I was like, Team America got it spot on.
To be fair,
yes, they put inappropriate jokes in, but in terms of the actual filming of it and the technology of it,
without a doubt,
even the story structure is pretty much spot on.
I like to think of it as a love letter to this universe. They were not doing it. They were not doing it to take the piss out of anything. They were doing it as adults who'd watched it growing up.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it was fan fiction. Yeah, I think it was Trey Parker and what's his face, the other guy.
Yeah. South Park creators.
Matt Stone. Yeah,
Matt Stone. I think they just basically were like, we've got money now. We've got South Park money. Let's just start making stuff that we like.
Without a doubt,
we love Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Without a doubt, It's a love letter to this universe, and I love them for it. It's not my favourite one, and it's not something that I would repeatedly watch. But I do.
I'll be honest. I know nearly every single line of that film. It's one of my favourite films of all time.
Okay.
And it's also like slightly embarrassing because it is also like hideously inappropriate and has not necessarily dated the best in terms of its jokes.
That's the South Park creators, though.
That's the South Park creators. It's also a little bit the Thunderbirds. Like even the creators, like some of the writers for Thunderbirds have later gone on to say some of this hasn't like at the time it was progressive. It hasn't dated.
It hasn't, and
certainly not. Especially when I was looking at Tintin's father's accent. And
some of the accents, some of the background villagers in particular are bad. The main characters are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. When they have like Indian characters, people from India and that, or like Pakistan and things, being the bad guys and the accents they have and things like that. It's a bit.
They do. They also have this thing, and as a woman of a prominent eyebrow, all the villains have like really big
Yeah,
eyebrows.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a code. If a guy comes in with like big bushy black eyebrows,
know.
bad guy.
Yeah,
It's
without
very
a doubt.
Just know.
it's very original series Star Trek Klingons.
Yes.
It's very that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
With
I think that's
similar
what
kind of time
it's
period.
just what they did in the 60s.
Yeah, it's very much in line with what we know of other programs from that era, without a doubt. But the only female character I think they handle well is Lady Penelope across all of them, because even
She's a
in
boss.
Captain Scarlet, the angels aren't that well developed. They are just there
No.
as fighter pilots.
Yeah, and they're kind of just like a Charlie's Angels rip.
Yeah.
Really, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean Aquamarina she's so good in Stingray, but she's also kind of a bit of a tragic figure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're saying she's so good, but she's also there to be seen and not heard.
That's the thing. Well, no, but she is psychic, so you do hear her sometimes.
Well,
You just, and she always comes in and saves the day, but she just does it quietly. I kind of feel like I think any woman who's worked in an office with very bolshy men who like to take lots of credit for stuff,
Yes.
I think they can relate to Aquamarina, just going around in the
Yes,
background
yes,
fixing
certainly.
problems.
Without a doubt.
Can I be honest? Lady Penelope annoys me a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, I love her. She's an icon.
I like how she's
like to be her.
No nonsense, and she's just kind of like, oh, just fire the cannons at them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like that, and she's not afraid to really get into the mission. But I don't know, I just kind of like on rewatching her, I found her to be a bit too stereotypical posh English bird.
This is what I'm saying. She is a stereotype, I think.
Yeah.
It was just a bit
but
OTT for me, and she was so mean to Parker.
She is, but as a mean OTT posh English bird, love her.
I mean, she's spot on for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that though, because she is insufferably rich as well, which isn't always the most likable character trait. You know?
But do you guys have a favourite series?
It's so hard to pick. I watched Thunderbirds only because that was what I had time to watch, and I had also low-key forgotten how long the episodes were, so I might have underestimated how long it would take to watch a full series of Thunderbirds, because they're actually like proper meaty. Well, I was expecting like a quick 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, after the success of the first few episodes, Sylvia
Yeah.
Anderson actually persuaded them to go up to 45 to 50 minutes an episode.
Yeah. And then you cut in the adverts as well, because it's all on ITV, so you can't escape the adverts.
Hour.
It's a good hour per episode. So I just watching it, I was like, oh, maybe Thunderbirds is my favourite, but I think I would have that same reaction to Captain Scarlet and Stingray. As a kid, I remember Stingray being my favourite because I just loved everything water based.
Yeah.
And like all of the underwater stuff. I also kind of love the way that they cut in like footage, like real footage of stuff. So you just see
like
a puppet.
the hands.
Yeah, like the hands, or like someone peering through like and there's a lot of that in Thunderbirds, which I really enjoy. Or like you just look at an actual clock. If it's not a puppet clock, it's like a real clock.
Yeah.
Or someone's like looking through a keyhole and suddenly it's a real eye.
There was a Captain Scarlet one I watched this afternoon, which was like the old slide away the eyes in the portrait, and it was like a person's eyes behind them.
But that's how they try to make things look real.
Yeah. I kind of loved the special effects they do for it as well. But Thunderbirds does have this like I don't know if I can use the word vehicle, like the phrase vehicle pornography, but it's like it's a real, like they really love this. You get the planes, you get the submarines, you get spaceships, you get cool terrain vehicles. So there is like an element of that where you're just like, oh, I just want a toy that looks like that I can just like zoom around on the carpet, you know?
Yeah.
It was really focused in on the technology side of it. Yes, there was a lot of technology in all of the series, like in the Gerry Anderson programs, but I feel like Thunderbirds especially really focused on it. It's like yes, the seat goes down, but then we're going to see the whole system of where he goes down, and then the longest tube, and then he goes up into the thing, and then he gets even his uniform pops up, and then he takes off, and it's like literally the whole thing. Whereas, like for say the Angels in Captain Scarlet, they just literally sat on a seat, put the helmet on, and they were in the plane.
Yeah,
and you didn't even see anything coming from Captain Scarlet. He just went and got a car.
So there is the kind of excitement of all of the vehicles and stuff in Thunderbirds, which I love. They also do a lot of focus on computers. And I think when this was first made, like, computers are something that are starting to emerge in like specific areas of work. So they're not everywhere. Not everyone has access to like a word processor yet, and computers still run on like massive cassettes and things. So you get lots of lovely Star Trek beeps.
Yes, very. That was actually something. That was something I actually noticed. I was like, this is so much like the original series. But I was watching. Obviously, when I was watching the documentary, they actually had Gerry Anderson's son from his third marriage on there, and he was talking about how predictive the technology was. The only thing that they really got wrong was the tapes, and how obviously it was massive tapes that do stuff. They got lots of it correct.
Video calls.
Yeah, exactly. They got so much of it correct when they were doing that, and that was just Sylvia and Gerry Anderson's just forward thinking, and maybe what they wanted to see in the future, and that what would make life easier. But that's kind of what they thought up, and that's genius. Like in the 60s, you could never predict what we could have had now.
Yeah, but I also think in the 60s you have this explosion of sci-fi as well, don't you? Because you have like the original series comes in.
Spycraft as well associated with it.
Spycraft as like becomes like a huge kind of, because you have the Cold War happening, so suddenly spies are the heroes between us and nuclear like fallout.
Yeah.
You have like you also have films. I think this is more like late 60s, early 70s, but films like Silent Running start like with Bruce Dern, which is a similar kind of technology base where for some reason writers at the time thought we were going to get to space on floppy disk technology. I'm really here for the optimism of it.
Yeah, I 100% can't help but agree there.
Yeah,
that is how we are going to like colonize other planets, floppy disks.
If only.
If only. And so I kind of think there's like a, man walks on the moon for the first time. There is an explosion of technology happening, and people can see it coming into their everyday lives, but it's not yet in the way that it is now, where people are computer literate. Like kids are computer literate at the age of 4 because it's part of their schooling. Like it has like a kind of exoticism and excitement, and I love that everyone's chatting about lasagnas as well in the
I was just looking at that.
I'm quite hungry.
Yes. I'm looking at that going, and I've just had leftover Chinese from last night.
Oh, that's so good. I went for Mexican today. I had like some birria tacos. Ooh,
nice. So but you know what my favourite series is? Captain Scarlet.
Is it Captain Scarlet? Yeah, okay.
I think I agree with you on this, because although I was brought up with Thunderbirds, and it's always the first one I think of when we talk about Gerry Anderson, I was rewatching on I managed to get in a few episodes of each of the ones I was going to mention. And I think I was enjoying Captain Scarlet the most out of them all.
I think it was Captain Scarlet purely because it was slightly darker. It was a little bit more mature. Don't get me wrong, I still love all of them. Obviously my first memory of this universe is Thunderbirds, but there's something about Captain Scarlet that I much more preferred. I don't know what it was, but it was just the way that it was. I think it was the more realistic puppet proportions, because they were a lot less character and just the way, because they'd actually designed it a lot better.
That was it, because for Captain Scarlet, it was at the start of the advent of more realistic marionettes that actually the technology had improved since they made the Stingray and Thunderbirds. So they were getting better as they were going on.
I think a lot of it's that, and I think I just like the themes a little bit more. There's an unseen enemy, and I just like it. I mean, even when
it's also, to be honest, Becca, you just love a pilot in red. We know you.
The thing about Captain Scarlet is, after the first episode, I was going, well, it's our own fault, really, at this point, isn't it? All the Mysterons did is turn a scanning thing towards the unit, and they went, oh no, they're going to kill us! Bang, bang, bang! And it was like literally inside, the Mysterons were just going, oh, Earth is peaceful, we are peaceful, let us see more about these peaceful humans. And literally the whole time, it's just the Mysterons taking revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
anyway, Captain Scarlet, I think, going with the bit darker one, you have to kill somebody every episode for the Mysterons to take over. Whereas, like, the others are about saving people, and yes, there might be the odd casualty, but you have to kill somebody every episode for the Mysterons to
But
work.
do you know what I didn't realise?
It was also a conscious, just on the kind of more adult theme, is that like, so Gerry Anderson has a bit of success with children's TV, and like it's airing, like his shows are airing in a children's TV slot. So he consciously chooses with Thunderbirds to try and do like humor that will appeal to both children and adults. So that's where you get a lot of like the innuendo that happens in Thunderbirds coming in. And then by the time he's got to Captain Scarlet, he's like hooked his adult audience in. So he deliberately is writing a show that is meant to air much later in the day, to be kind of more like a slightly older family show. And I think, you're right, because of that, it does feel appealing to adults.
Yeah, it's okay. I remember this being sort of like an afternoon programme on, I want to say ITV3, but it might have been BBC2. But I remember it airing after maybe the football, or I want to say the Grand National. I've got a memory of the Grand National theme tune and then it going to Captain Scarlet for some reason. But I liked this program, and I think it's probably led to me liking a lot more of the more mature programs that I have, like Star Trek, Star Wars. A lot of the Power Ranger series that I do gravitate to are the more mature ones. So I do think a lot of it started
a bit of a darker theme.
Yes, but do you know what I didn't realise until I was rewatching it today? Captain Scarlet's a Mysteron. I didn't realise that. Yeah. I literally, I've not connected, because I've not watched it properly in years. I have not connected that he's a Mysteron that's obviously become good or switch sides, because I don't think I don't necessarily think the Mysterons are evil. I think they're just over there doing their own thing, and we've kind of interrupted them, and it's caused a hoo-ha. But I literally didn't realise that until today. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
I think it also makes it a bit more like exciting as well. The other thing I think that's appealing is Captain Scarlet has like a single hero that you have the angels and other characters in it, but he is like the hero of the show. Yes. So making him like a cool badass alien, great choice. Good story choice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the hero thing, although he would have been as much of a hero anyway, but I kind of think that the indestructible side of it really played a big part in, no, I'm going to walk in and set this bomb off type of thing. No, I'm going to be the one who crashes this car, or I will save the helicopter that's about to crash type of thing. Yeah. The indestructible part really plays into that a bit more.
It makes sense for the styling of what programs were in the 60s.
Yeah, and also like that kind of like indestructible alien coming to Earth to champion humanity. That's just Superman, isn't it? From the 50s.
Pretty much.
But retold. It's kind of like Superman with technology. Which I kind of love, but that's also like very of that period.
Yes. But moving to another series, did you guys, obviously Sarah would have watched Joe 90, but do you remember watching much of Joe 90, Phoebes?
I do not, but I do remember watching The Secret Service, which is another Gerry Anderson
which is the weirdest one.
Spies.
But it's a vicar who's a spy though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I kind of love that, and I'd love to see a live action of that. Please.
Please.
But to be fair,
Yeah,
I
Vicar
think,
Spy.
yeah.
If the vicar could be played by Dawn French, perfect.
I accept the
Yeah.
headcanon.
So
Yes.
you'd watch that,
Yes.
wouldn't you?
I would
watch
watch
that.
that. Figuratively. Oh my god.
Well, turn
Figuratively.
spy, turn 60s spy. I'm in.
Figuratively / MI5. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine if Geraldine Granger was actually a spy? Oh my god.
I
I
would be
think
there
she'd
for
do an
that.
all right job.
Yeah. I think she would. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sarah, seeing you're
Oh.
the only one that's really watched anything of Joe 90.
Right. I only watched a couple of episodes of it, right, really, because I didn't like it as much as the others. I don't know if you know anything about it, so it's an invention turns a 9-year-old boy into a special agent by using the incredible knowledge contained inside his brain. So what they do is somehow they get the knowledge of a person, say like a Russian pilot or something like that. This is an example from an actual
Okay.
episode. So they get the knowledge of a Russian pilot. They sit this boy inside a chamber and they give him the knowledge of the Russian pilot. And then the child goes off and steals the Russian plane and brings it back to England so we can get all of Russia's secrets.
Ooh.
And nobody
Oh,
believes that a 9-year-old has stolen a Russian fighter plane.
because why would you? It's very Matrix.
Because why would you?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the Matrix before the Matrix was a thing.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking Doll's House. I
Mhm,
don't know if you've ever seen. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever seen that program. That's all my head is like.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't like it as
Yeah.
much because it didn't feel like it flowed story-wise as much. It reminded me a bit of an Eddie Izzard sketch when he's talking about serious players on stage and he's like, oh, hello. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
here arranging matches. Oh, I see. And it's kind of there's a bit too much of a gap between the characters interacting with each other. Whereas I think that worked fine in the like other ones, considering Joe 90 was a later one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Gerry was going back to the kids show at this point, a kid-friendly territory one. And the
Yeah.
computer was called the Big Rat. um. So yes, I mean, it didn't have as great a reception as the rest, and it made it the last of the classic Anderson marionettes shows.
Yeah.
As
I
I
think
say-
there's also something because it's not like when it's starring a child. I think I'm also automatically less interested. That sounds
Yeah.
awful.
No.
You know what I mean?
I fully
Like,
get
I
it.
think it limits it slightly.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
fully get it, and I don't think it got as bigger of audience because it didn't have anything in particular that could be made into, say, toys or
Mhm.
other things.
Yeah,
obviously-
that's a good point.
I've been asking around the last couple of days, going, "Oh, what's your favorite? What's your favorite one? You know, what's your favorite series?"
Mm.
And not one person has mentioned this one.
No one. I mean, the only reason
No.
I hadn't seen it before watching a couple of episodes for this. And the only reason I was aware of it was because of my dad mentioning it in the past.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten that he said that until recently that he was Joe 90 back in the 60s. Hi, Dad.
See, I remember the Secret Service, but I don't remember why.
I
I
Yeah,
don't remember
I-
that one at all. I don't know that one at all.
I have a feeling the Secret Service was before, like one of the earlier ones. I think.
no, it was the last one. I
Is it
think
later.
it was the
Oh, was
yeah
it?
yeah it was
Seriously?
it's normally known as the strangest last one.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Why is it? Here's a question. So, like, people who create worlds like this. So I'm thinking of like, in particular, Miyazaki for Studio Ghibli. His
Mm.
last film is the weirdest film, The Boy and the Heron. It's so weird. It's really, really weird. And I feel like Gerry Anderson did a similar thing. Like, he created these like kind of iconic household like series, and then for the last one just went off the rails.
Yeah, I
And just kind of like just got real self-indulgent with it. Maybe
From-
maybe it's just the fact by that point they've earned their chops and they can do
Yeah.
whatever they like.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pander to anyone.
from my research, because I was like, I wanted to kind of know why it didn't do as well, and
Yeah.
supposedly it's simple as the fact of it had regional accents and it didn't land as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. And also reminds me of what was it, Poldark, when everyone was complaining about the mumbling
Yep.
of the Yorkshireman.
Yep. That's what a lot of people have said. It's that was the aspect of it that didn't work, and it was an experiment too far.
That's rough. I don't like. Yeah. Well, maybe Sylvia Anderson was right. She was like, there are only two types of Brits to Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that you go outside of those two stereotypes,
yeah, very much,
confused.
very, very much, and it is.
Yeah.
It's the most.
No offense to our lovely American friends.
Yeah, it's the most British of them all.
Yeah.
So maybe that is 100%. It didn't quite land.
And let's be honest, the British TV audience is a much smaller than like Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Like American. Yeah.
Well, that was it. Thunderbirds got cancelled because they didn't think they could sell it to the American network.
Yeah.
Yeah. It only was it midway through the second season? Because they thought they were going to be unable to get it to the bigger audience, even though it was basically what made the Andersons famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers, but there's only 32 episodes plus 2 films.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
mind-boggling. I mean. It's a bit like Mr. Bean. You think there are 1 million episodes, and there's not.
Or Fawlty Towers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a thing, and also it's the media has translated from they first start making puppets in 1957 for TV, and it goes right up to 2015.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That they're making stuff. So considering it's really stretched over time as well, considering the actual small amount of collateral. You could in a month easily watch all of the back catalogue of these puppet shows.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have a great month doing it. And it was International Puppet Day yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Which
very
none of us
well-timed
knew.
episode then.
The lovely Molly was like, "Oh, are you doing it because it's International Puppet Day?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously we've planned it,
obviously." But what I also liked, when people got bored in lockdown, they created a whole web series around this, Nebula 75, and I actually watched it. It literally is filmed in the spirit of this, and it's
oh, I love that.
But what I loved about it is, what had me laughing to myself is it was filmed in Supermarionation and Super Isolation.
Yeah, amazing, perfect.
I've not seen that either.
I think
I love that.
And someone actually mentioned it in the Nerdy Up North community today, and I was like, I'm gonna have to share that because it
that's the perfect pun.
That is it's perfect, and it's a sweet series. It's not spectacular. It's just it's a spacecraft trapped 33 million light years away from Earth, and it's got a Commander Ray Neptune, and I love the name Ray Neptune. Just cracked me up.
Ray Neptune.
It's got robots. It's basically an episode of Star Trek, and I love it for it.
I suppose Ray Neptune's better than Uranus.
Yeah.
Ray Uranus.
Ray Uranus.
And it's got
which is a bit like where people call their children like Dermot McDermott, which I've always thought would be so cool.
But it's also got a homage to Stingray, where you had the telepathic alien. They've got their own telepathic alien called Athena.
Oh, I love that.
Athena.
Yes.
Athena.
So this is exactly it's literally they have made it's like a love letter, another love letter to this universe, and
Oh, I love that.
Can I just make a mention of how epic the theme tunes were to these shows, though?
Do you know, Sarah, I was just thinking about the music, and because it also gives me like 1960s Bond film.
Yeah,
it's like proper
vibe-based music.
Proper orchestral.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine people driving down the Swiss Alps or something, even though
Very
it's just a
much.
paper mache volcano.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It,
love
it,
that.
it's very, very dramatic and yet like orchestral, and I didn't realize. I mean, I was thinking about like before I started watching the drums of the Thunderbirds intro, but then it's kind of I was listening to it, and it's like, well, there's an awful lot of like brass and what sounds like harps and stuff in there, and I'm like, this is actually a full-on orchestra piece.
It's very much in
soon as-
tune
as
with the
s-
Starlin.
Yeah, and as soon as that theme tune started playing, I got very excited
Yeah.
in a very
Boom,
like
boom.
childish way. I was like,
Boom.
yeah, it's so good. Also, a quick shout out to the little duckling who is enjoying us from our friend Pitchgrid Pod. Apparently, the baby is listening to us talking.
Hi, Duckling.
Hi,
That's
baby.
nice. I hope I haven't sworn too much to ruin your child's brain.
No, I think you're good. I think you're good. This is
Okay,
a
we're
good
good.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. If the stream suddenly cuts out, it's because I've started cussing up a storm and we don't want to
Yes.
ruin the baby.
Yes. I'll just mute you.
We've
If
already
you
done the
start
theme tune,
swearing,
Chris.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Chris, we've already sang the theme tune. You've missed it.
Right, the
Or do
theme
you want-
tune, sing the theme
That's
tune.
exactly what I was
This is the voice of the Mysterons. We know you can hear us, Earthmen.
There's a clip for you.
But yes.
Yeah.
Does
But
anyone
no,
have...
I agree. The music's been amazing, and I've been walking around all week like singing puppet show tunes.
I found myself literally while I was watching it, the outro song to Captain Scarlet. I'm like, indestructible Captain Scarlet. I've been like walking around the house singing it.
It's a good marching song. It's got the beat.
Yes, it
Yes.
does.
Any last questions, Becca? Is that what you were going to ask us?
I was just going to ask, does anyone have a favourite character that they haven't mentioned so far?
Well, I was actually going to talk about what's your favourite Thunderbird vehicle, and for me, it's Lady Penelope's pink car.
FAB1.
Yes.
Fab one.
Yes. It is an epic vehicle. And the fact it has missiles and all
That
the
pop
other
out of the hood. Yeah.
And it's like got the
She's so
glass. It's got the glass hood. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. But
Hi, Eddie.
I think one of my favourite sort of vehicles is the space base, but that's me. I like.
Thunderbird 5.
Yeah. Thunderbird 5. There's also an episode where the guy who's always up in the space station, is it Alan or I can't remember which
It
one.
is.
John's in the space station and Alan does Thunderbird 3.
You're
But
okay. So
they
John
swap.
and John's having like some sort of fantasy about taking Lady Penelope on a date, and then they go to a bar and it's Cliff Richard and the Shadows playing as puppets in the bar. And whatever happened to Cliff Richard? He just disappeared after the 60s were done. He did Summer Holiday and then bam. Frankie says relax.
He
We're
did
over.
the song with the young ones.
He did the song with the young
He
ones.
did the song with the young ones. What was it?
Did the
Live
song
and
with the
Doll.
young ones. Yeah. That's 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Cliff Richard, I hope you're
Live
okay
and
wherever you
Doll.
are. But when I saw that pop up, I was like, oh my god, is that tiny puppet Cliff Richard? That's hilarious. Yeah.
That's too funny. I've not seen that episode, but I'm gonna have to go find that episode.
I think that's probably my favourite character is puppet Cliff Richard. Yeah, watch that episode.
Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
My favourite character would be one of the angels. I loved them as I was growing up. I wanted to be one of the angels. I didn't care
They
which
are
one.
Just any of them.
Yeah, they were just
Any of
glamorous,
them.
and I
have
just
3 different wigs that you can switch out depending on which one you want to be.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
I don't know what it was about it, but something about the organisation, Spectrum in Captain Scarlet made me feel like, it was going to be one of the first in the future to allow women to be the coloured captains as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Something about it made me think that.
In the
'cause
cartoons, there is a female one.
Oh, well, there you go. I haven't seen the cartoons, but I kind of got the feeling from that, just how they interact, and the fact that although yes, we do have kick-ass Lady Penelope, she's kind of like almost on a back seat, whereas they launch the Angels nearly every single
Yeah.
episode, and like
They do.
they're driving fighter jets, and they're firing and blowing things up and stuff, and they're getting in on it, and they get caught sometimes and put in danger. So I think
That's
that
true. They
they
have
could.
peril.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'd be more into the Angels and call me shallow if their fighter jets were pink. And I don't care if that's stereotypical. I like my
You are
favourite
allowed
colour.
to say that as a woman,
I
okay?
kind of assumed that they were white to match the clouds, so they could kind of blend in a bit more.
Oh, but here's the thing. I don't know why I know this. It's either World War One or World War Two. They started painting planes pink, the bottom of planes pink, because it made it harder for them to be spotted from the ground. And it's to do with the light refraction.
Yeah.
So if you paint them white, they actually stand out very easily against the sky. Whereas if you paint them pink, for some reason, there's like a trick of the light that happens with.
There's
the
a
human eye.
thing of that in nature as well, where like you've got the creatures in the sea that swim closer to the surface, but have predators that live below them. They have different coloured stomachs.
Yeah, so they have
them to blend in.
a white stomach and a black back. It's like lots of sharks do as well.
Yeah.
So predators will do it as well to confuse prey. This is the thing. So like I'm just saying, if the Angels really wanted to stealth, maybe that's why they get caught all the time.
Yeah.
Because they should have painted their planes pink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
up your game, Angels.
But then would that be too much to have them in pink outfits to match the pink planes?
You can never have enough
question,
pink.
Sarah.
Because we've already got it. We already have a Captain Magenta.
We do already have a Captain, and Captain Scarlet is basically just dark pink. Let's be honest. That's just what red is. Yeah, maybe they'd have to have different cut. I think they could still be in white outfits. That's fine. White and pink's very chic.
Yeah.
Why not? Works for Barbie all the time.
Oh, of course, yes.
It does. It does.
That feminist icon.
Chris, we are not playing that.
We're not playing that, Chris.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay. Meads is doing it.
I'm kidding.
I've got a few factoids.
Okay, let's go.
Give us some factoids.
If anybody wants any factoids, Stingray was the first Supermarionation based British TV series to be filmed in colour. In 1964, yes. We've got Thunderbirds was inspired by a mining disaster that occurred in West Germany in October 1963. It inspired
nice.
Gerry to create a new program format about a rescue organisation. Where normal...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the name Thunderbird came from a pamphlet published by the RAF, in which they referred to the American base as being full of Thunderbirds or something, or near the Thunderbird base. And he thought, oh, that's catchy. Let's use that.
Yeah. Can I also give a shout out to Sylvia?
Ah.
I think as like
oh yeah, like huge influence.
I like how it's like an all-female panel here, and we're talking about shows that were initially only aimed at men and like the boys and stuff. I think Sylvia deserves a shout out here as co-creator and co-writer basically during the 60s and 70s. She was primary contribution being character development and costume design.
Correct. And she was just heavily influenced by like Carnaby Street and Parisian fashions as well at the time. So a lot of the outfits are actually very chic.
Very chic and very on par with the times. Yep.
Yeah.
She regularly directed the fortnightly voice recording sessions.
Yeah.
And did most of the voices for female and child characters. Also helped develop the shows and characters full stop. In particular, creating, as we mentioned, Lady Penelope before, and she also created Parker.
Yeah, she did.
So yes, there's my my shout
We
out.
love
Don't forget Sylvia.
We do.
Never.
We do. But
did you actually watch any of Terrahawks?
Yes, it terrified me. I bought it on DVD.
I didn't want to watch Terrahawks because the face that's most associated with that, it creeps me out.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch any of that.
It's a very different style to the Supermarionation stuff. It's a very different style.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I could be into this, but it is weird.
It is weird, and it's a very, very different concept because it's done a lot later than the rest of them, but it is still a fun watch.
I mean, one woman has a bright orange afro. I'm in. Yeah, Eddie, afros.
But what have we got on this week? What's everyone got on with their own things?
Oh, so Anime Club this week we're doing Devil May Cry. We're back in computer game inspired anime, and we're going to be watching the newest, not the like noughties version of Devil May Cry, but the newest Netflix one, which has split audiences. So I'm kind of curious about where Chris is going to land in terms of his thoughts on it. And last week we did one. I just want to clarify our episode from last week. Talk about animals kicking off in the background was an anime called The Darwin Incident, which is about a chimpanzee who gets experimented on and gives birth to a half chimp, half human. Don't ask how that happened. And it's all about like there's like basically it's about like veganism and animal cruelty and humans' place on Earth and our role in the ecosystem. It's a really good anime, but I just want to clarify to the people on TikTok, when we're talking about a lab experimenting on animals, it's not a real lab, it is an anime. Like, it's not real.
Yes.
Please don't panic when you hear about some of the atrocities that are committed at this lab. They're not real. There isn't such a thing as a humanity. And I am quite surprised I have to say that out loud.
No, but when I first saw it, do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, oh my God, they've done an anime that starts the start of the rage virus from 28 days later. Because when
like it could be so similar, except for instead of a rage virus, there's this weird half ape, half human.
Yeah, like when Chris was describing it at first, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is just the start of the rage virus, and then he carried on, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not as interested now.
And then it carries on, and it actually gets kind of a bit sad at times because of all the animal sadness.
No,
but it is a really good anime. It's just heavy. So yeah, it's not lots of laughs. So I'm hoping that this week with Devil May Cry, we can have a few more laughs because Dante is a bit ridiculous as a character, so that should be all right. We'll make fun of emos. It'll be great.
No, we don't make fun of emos.
Yeah.
We were all emo in our teenagers, man.
Yeah, of course we were. That's why we should make fun of them.
Heck, it's all panic and no disco.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look, I don't want to fall out with you, boy. Sorry. But yeah, that's what we've got going on. Sorry, that was a really long way of being like, come watch Anime Club.
What have I got on this week? I think we might have Once More with Morphin. We've taken a bit of a hiatus just because I was unwell, Jake's been unwell, and we've been knackered because we're grown-ups with jobs. Yeah. So we've not been doing it. We might have an episode this week. I'm not entirely sure. We will find out later in the week.
But you have had an episode of Wonk come out.
We did. We had an episode come out yesterday, and that was a fun episode. Hannah Graham is one of the kindest persons that I've ever met, and she's so sweet.
And we're going out for a pie date with her.
Yeah, we're going out for a pie date with her.
I love that.
So we're still
doing a pie of choice.
I don't know because I haven't looked.
It depends on what they've got on the day because they change it. So we're going to go along to a place near both me and Becca called the Sheepfolds, and they have a place called Proper Pies, spelled Propa. Proper. And it's owned by Cy King of the Hairy Bikers. So it's his pie restaurant in Sunderland. So they change their menu every week or whatever, depending on how much meat they've got of a certain kind. And yeah, we're going to go there for a pie with her.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's coming out. What else? Oh, I went to the Festival of the Girl yesterday. That was amazing. I am absolutely knackered. But that's amazing. Go and support them. Go and support them on social media. It's amazing. They've also got other things coming up. They've got the massive London event, and they've also got Fest for the Boys, which I'm excited to see what's going on there, because they're expanding. You know, they're trying to support all children in reaching their potential, which is awesome and much needed at the moment.
Yeah. For
Yes.
I'm
sure.
absolutely gutted that I couldn't go to Festival of the Girl because I was really looking forward to it. But I went to buy tickets and they were sold out, which is great for them. Absolutely
Yes.
over the moon that it was a sold out event. But yeah, I was just gutted that I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes.
Grand.
Yeah, that's about it. Oh,
Um,
the next episode of Nerdy Up North is about Sonic, according to my DMs. Yes.
Okay.
Which should be good. And then after that, there should be more puppets. We're doing more puppets.
At some point,
Yes.
because we've got to really go and talk about Jim Henson at some point because,
Yes.
to complete the puppet cycle.
Yes. Puppets, part 2.
The repuppeting.
Repuppeting. But for now, that's pretty much it. And I don't have a sign off, so love
Keep
you.
an eye on the socials for the most
Bye.
up-to-date